Now, once you've had experience, right, then civil enforcement officers have everything stitched up. It's appalling. You can't fight them back in court. And I'll tell you, absolutely disgraceful what's happening in our towns. Just look at this clip, which was taken in Manchester, and the MNE mentioned in the clip is the Manchester Evening News.
Excuse me, sir, excuse me. Just out of interest, will you be telling these ladies that under the Environmental Enforcement Act, and according to government guidelines on issuing fixed penalty notices, you have to give them the opportunity to pick the litter back up?
We did, mate. Give them an opportunity to walk up.
When you walk away from it, when the offence is committed.
Okay. So will you be giving her that opportunity now, or are you just going to issue a fixed penalty notice? Zero tolerance policy. But you are a private company, aren't you?
Working on behalf of Manchester City Council.
So you're contracted on behalf... So she can pick it up. But the thing is, you're a private company. These people don't have any requirement to give their details.
Officers of Manchester City Council.
But you're not police officers. You're not police officers. You have no power of arrest.
It's a criminal offence to walk away and refuse.
Then you'd have to go to court, wouldn't you? In fact, you're acting them.
There's a few police up and down here. We can just go and get them.
I'd say go and get them, because the thing is, this is a civil matter, and you're asking them to settle out of court.
No, it's a civil matter until they walk away and refuse details.
Right, but you're asking them to settle out of court for a civil matter.
Yes, that's what's going on.
Can you pick that cigarette up?
Of course you can.
No, they walked away from the offence. Are you the officer or am I? Do you do this job?
You're not an officer
Are you
either.
just a fake YouTuber?
I'm not a fake
Yes, you
YouTuber.
are.
You're a fake enforcement officer.
Officer.
You don't care about the environment, otherwise you'd ask them to pick it up. It's nothing to do with the environment.
Like we said, once you walk away from that...
Right, but it's nothing to do with the environment, is it? It's a tax, isn't it? It's a tax for a private company. Why don't you walk off? If you're training to be a police officer, you... See, this is where you're failing. You're giving information to a private company.
I'm not giving any details.
There you go. Best thing you can do is walk that way.
We're in the police, mate.
Oh, that's it. Let them come. It's a civil matter. Where is the litter? Just have it.
Yeah, there it is. I can pick it up.
All right, well, pick it up then. Pick it up. Just pick it up now. Pick it up. And that's the end of the matter. There you go. Do you really want to make a story of this? Because you've been all over MEN for getting people for feeding pigeons and stuff, bits of pastry or anything like that. Are you sure any skin cells haven't dropped off of a face?
No.
Excuse me, any police officers? Because we've got someone dropped a fag butt.
I'll go and have a look myself. It's got what a YouTuber here.
On your back, just yeah, leave it. You've got no powers of detention whatsoever.
Pardon?
What's your postcode at the moment?
I'm not giving you my postcode. I'll wait for the
I'll just go and have a look on that. There's no police for them.
Oh, well, that's the end of it then, isn't it? See you in a bit. Bye-bye. There you go. And it's as easy as that. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Once you've been stung by them civil enforcement officers, you never do it again. And it was a pouring down day, so I was in the town centre in Blackburn, so I stood in there like a empty shop door roll, lit a cigarette up, had a few blasts on it, and then I picked it out and put the stump in my pocket. It was half a cigarette, I put it in my pocket. I goes into Betfred to put a pound bet on, and the enforcement officers came in Betfred. Now, they're not allowed to go on private property to apprehend anybody. Anyway, they asked permission to the assistant, could they talk to me into it? And the assistant said, yeah. Then they looked at me and said, you've committed an offence, we need your details. I said, sort of. And they won't let me put a pound bet on, so I walked out, and they were harassing me and following me. I had to jump in a taxi to get out of the way. Now, that is bad news, isn't it? Martin Eden of the Environmental Health Office in the town hall is corrupt to the core. The old town hall is corrupt, Labour Council, right? And he has listened to the civil enforcement's view, and he feels it's appropriate to issue me with a fine, which I totally denied. They've only the word of the civil enforcement team, and I'll tell you what, it was absolutely pouring down. There was nobody out. I was smoking, you know, and I mean, I had to stand in the shop doorway, and they were watching me, and I never dropped no cigarette on the floor. Well, if they don't find nobody in one day, right? Well, what happens? They haven't made any money that day, you know. So for a council to hire people that give them permission to fine people, and their only income is by fine money, right? And nobody commits any offence, there's no fine money. Where do they get the money from? They go out of business, you know. So them civil enforcement officers are corrupt. I'm making allegations now that Kate Holland's office are turning a blind eye to it. Well, we're in Blackburn, Lancashire, and we've got Annie, she's an absolutely brilliant singer. She's going to make it one day. Now, when she's busking, she notices things, right? And tell us what you know about the civil enforcement officers.
I know they stare at people. If you're having like a cigarette or anything, they'll stand there until you finished it, stare at you. And like, if you're like a young woman that's had, you know, that's had to deal with like things like sexual harassment and things like that, that's going to make you feel intimidated. If these men are like just staring at you while you're having a cigarette and things like that, it's going to make you feel really uncomfortable as a woman.
Yeah, it's appalling. What's this about the ladies with brands?
Yeah, and also I've heard that they are, for example, if you accidentally drop something, you don't realise you've dropped it. If something falls out your pocket or anything, they fine you.
Well, it's absolutely appalling. Would you say we need to get shut of them? Well, we do, don't we? Get rid of them, get their contracts cancelled. What do you think?
I'd say only find people that are actually doing it on purpose, dropping the litter on purpose and not going to pick it up.
Yeah.
But don't like target everyone. Innocent people that aren't like.
Yeah.
You know, if you accidentally drop things and stuff, you shouldn't be fined because you've not been given a chance to pick it up and you've not realised you've dropped it. It's wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong, isn't it? Anyway, thanks a lot, Anne.
Thank you.
I cannot tell everybody, Anne is an absolutely brilliant singer. Right, they will be sacked. There's one there, look, civil enforcement. Hey?
Don't blame me for the cigarette.
Hey, mind your own business.
What does this say?
It says civil enforcement.
I'm not about the cigarette. It's not me who's undercover cigarettes.
Hey, shut up. Yeah. See, you know, how abusive can a person, they have a bad job and they think they have the authority to abuse.
Okay, leave me alone. Listen, don't fucking matter, you know, okay? Leave me alone. Okay, leave me alone. Listen, don't fucking matter, you know, okay? Leave me alone.
Yeah, I was outside Inspire when it was called Inspire, and I'd gone out for a tea break and me and my partner had a cigarette between us because we only had one cigarette paper at the time. Anyway, I shared it with her and she smoked it first, passed it to me, I smoked it, and fair enough, I did put it down and put it out. Then she was approached by two officers that said they both seen her putting the cigarette out on the floor, which I intervened and said no, she couldn't have because she passed it to me, and actually I hadn't. I'd put it down myself and that, you know, so it was myself. So I said, well, you can't really do that. I says, how can you find two people for one thing? I says, when she never done nothing, and it was myself that done it. Anyway, they wanted to fine me £75. And you know, they were asking address and all this and that, and they got the address anyway. Somehow they got the address, and I never heard nothing about it because they obviously went back, said what happened in the situation, and that, and says, oh no, you can't do that. Two into one, you know, doesn't go in that way. And I've had a few times, you know, where they've harassed me, you know, and things like this. And I dropped a piece of paper one time and that when I was coming out of the bank. It was a receipt from the bank I dropped it, bent down to pick it up, and they says, "Oh, we're fining you for that. You dropped paper." I says, "I've just come out the back. I wasn't even out the doorway." And they tried to fine me on that one. Anyway, they've harassed me a few times and that. And yeah, I think myself, they're going too far now. And I've actually talked to one of them, and they said, the more people that they fine, that is how they get their wages. He wasn't fining me at the time. He was talking to me as a friend. He didn't know me. He was talking to me as a friendly way. And he says that's how they get their wages. Now they get bonuses. Doesn't matter how many they get, you know what I mean? They get bonuses off them. So I think it's wrong, and I think they should just do away with them. And they should do the people that are doing things like, you know, purposely doing things on watch out and do the job right. And if they've done the job right, yeah, maybe the place would be a lot cleaner and things like this and that. And even if they give better still, if they approach somebody and said, "Please, can you pick it up?" That would be a better situation. You know what I mean? And I would say, like, out of that, I'd probably say 90% of people would just pick it up. So that's all I've got to say anyway. My name's Liam and
I contacted Kate Holland's office in Blackburn because they said they had footage of me dropping a cigarette on the floor. And that office gave the Civil Enforcement Office 10 working days to supply the footage. And they haven't supplied the footage because I know they haven't got any, right? Martin Eden from Blackburn Town Hall Environmental Health Office got involved, right? He said he's listened to the enforcement officer and he's satisfied that I should be fined. Who the hell does Martin Eden think he is? He's corrupt, I'll tell you. The whole bloody town knows corrupt, I'll tell you, you know.